by a three-nation offensive, Boko Haram militants go on a rampage in Cameroon. In our Music Makers segment, a rap pioneer of the Congo. And Rihanna gets a little help from her friends in a new music video. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. Fighters from the Nigerian-based Boko Haram militant group went on the offensive again Friday, attacking a town inside neighboring country of Niger. It is the second foreign country attacked by the terrorist group this week. Witnesses say the insurgents were later repelled by forces from Chad and Niger. Meanwhile, senior government ministers and African Union officials are meeting in the Cameroon to discuss the formation of a new force to fight Boko Haram. Now, the plan's approval is critical to getting the UN Security Council's blessing for military involvement by other African nations in the fight against Boko Haram. The African Union has authorized a force of 7,500 troops from Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and Benin to fight the group's militants, and is expected to seek a United Nations Security Council mandate, which could also include logistical support from other countries. The AU meeting is chaired by Cameroon's Defense Minister Edgar Alain Membengo.
We are going to work on the structure of the operation, elaborate a plan that will ensure logistical support as well as the goals we want to achieve. In general terms, will be the management of this operation that will determine the right deployment of forces on the ground, and this will be submitted by the African Union to the UN Security Council, which will confer the new force on international legitimacy, as well as the financial resources necessary for its effective operation.
Well, the AU meeting is scheduled to end on Saturday. Now, despite the ongoing violence in Nigeria's northeast, Nigeria's Council of State has decided to stick with its February 14th date for the presidential election. Here's more on the upcoming ballot in an election overview from our partner Channels Television in Lagos.
At the turn of this decade, there have been so much talk about the year 2015 and how it will determine a lot in the further existence of Nigeria. The nation is under intense pressure as it is confronted with a critical general elections which is due in another few days. The 2015 elections will be the fifth since the return to civilian rule in 1999. With just few days away, several controversies continue to belabor the smooth conduct. One major worry is the security situation in the country, especially in some states of the northeastern region where Boko Haram insurgency has continued to torment. The big question is, just how will the electoral umpire conduct elections in this area, considering the bombardments from the insurgents and the constant repellents by the state forces? The European Election Observer Group has sworn not to deploy any of their men to these areas. Ironically, amidst all the troubles in the region, the Northeast has second largest collection rates of voter cards, even more than the Southwest region, which has the largest voting population in Nigeria's South. Fighting electoral fraud and malpractices has led the umpire into cleaning up the register and insisting on the use of biometric-enabled system for the elections. Millions of Nigerians now complain that they have not collected their cards, the fear of being disenfranchised.
Not more than 90 days before.
The National Security Advisor was recently at the Chatham House in London, where he asked for the postponement of the polls. His reason is that millions of Nigerians are still not with their voter cards.
Look at the possibility of shifting this thing and doing it when everybody has a card.
Up to the 13th of February.
The head of the Electoral Commission, Professor Atayu Jega, disagrees with that opinion and has given an extension of dates for collection.
We are doing everything possible to ensure that before the end of this month, all the cards have been produced and made available for people to collect.
The opposition party says they smell a rat and would not accept any shift in the date of the polls.
For us, the February 14th and 20th dates for the elections are sacrosanct as the handover date of May 29th, 2015.
Nigeria is at a crossroad, a very critical time in the history of the largest black nation in the world. How the country paddles its way through the murky waters of politics in the coming days becomes a game of wait and see. Sheun Okimbaloye reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, a group of influential Nigerian leaders agree with the council and says the presidential and parliamentary elections should go on February the 14th as planned, despite concerns about the country's readiness for that vote.
Issues of the fact that 7 days to election, about 34% of Nigerians still cannot access their permanent voters card, because a major issue that was discussed, issues of state of preparedness of security agencies to conduct elections nationwide.
Well, the Nigerian electoral body, INEC, has indicated it may extend the deadline for the distribution of voter ID cards for its upcoming presidential election beyond next Sunday, but no consideration was being given to delaying the election itself. Well, the first United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, who is both an Arab and a Muslim, on Thursday also became the first one to visit the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. VOA's Jerome Sokolovsky reports.
In a speech about preventing atrocities, Zaid Rad al-Hussein said everyone must learn about the Holocaust and ask themselves,
why so many ordinary people could kill so easily, feeling no guilt whatsoever.
The Jordanian prince said the more recent slaughters of defenseless people by Islamist militants and the death by fire of a pilot from his own country were perpetrated by what he called takfiri, or infidels. He said they're deceiving their followers with Nazi-like chauvinistic lies.
If we have learned anything from our collective history, it is this: scrambling only for ourselves, our people, our political or religious ideology, or for our own kind, will only scramble it all, eventually, sometimes horrifyingly so, for everyone.
Zaid said the antidote is human rights education for every child in the world, beginning before the age of 9.
In this way, from Catholic parochial schools to the most secular public institutions, and indeed Islamic madaris, or madrasas in English, children could learn, even in kindergarten, the experience the fundamental human rights, values of equality, justice, and respect.
Prince Zaid's speech drew an overflow crowd here inside the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. And among those in attendance were a few people who survived the Nazi genocide.
I was born in Austria in 1922.
Margit Meissner said afterward that Prince Zaid's remarks were right on the money.
It's just a question of how can one do it and how much willingness is there in the world to do it. Because everybody throws up his hands and says, what a terrible thing, and then they go about their business.
The prince said feelings of hopelessness are understandable, but insisted that human rights are the only meaningful rampart against barbarity. Jerome Sokolovsky, VOA News, Washington.
Well, Egyptians have been building canals since the time of the pharaohs. Egypt now plans to expand the Suez Canal, raising hopes that the end of its economic crisis may be in sight. But as VOA's Heather Maddock reports from London, some analysts say they expect the project may cost too much and may take too long to make life better for everyday Egyptians.
The Suez Canal, stretching 163 kilometers between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean, opened in 1869, boosting trade between Europe and Asia. The canal now brings in revenue of roughly $5 billion a year. Officials say the expansion, launched last August, will nearly double traffic through the canal by adding a section alongside the existing waterway, allowing for two-way traffic for part of the canal's length. as Egyptians mark the 4th anniversary of violent political upheaval that has included the ouster of 2 presidents. Some say the country is ready for an economic and political recovery. Amr Musa is a former Arab League head and presidential candidate.
We made a constitution and we elected a president, and the parliamentary elections are coming up. When these institutions are complete, I can say that Egypt has entered the phase of the Third Republic and that it's approaching a phase of development, reformation, enlightenment, and fixing the disorder that has happened in Egypt.
But violence continues. At least 15 people were killed in protests last weekend, and some analysts say the canal project may not create enough jobs or facilitate enough economic recovery to help the security situation. Andrew Lambert is a professor of naval history at the Department of War Studies at King's College in London.
I think the cost is going to be the key. Is global shipping sufficiently dynamic to make this a paying return? And the canal itself takes some time to pay its way, the original canal. The cost of the project was far higher than was estimated.
The original Suez Canal took at least a decade to build, stymied by political disputes, labor shortages, and disease. But Egyptian leader Abdel Fattah el-Sisi wants the new waterway to be completed by next August. It is expected to cost $8.5 billion and could double the canal's annual revenue by 2023. Still, it won't solve Egypt's immediate need for jobs and national income, says Carol Kirstein, a senior lecturer on Islam, also at King's College in London.
In terms of employment or making a contribution to Egypt's GDP, in terms of expanding the volume of trade that passes through Egypt, that will then have only a secondary effect, I think, on people's living standards. So this is a long-term thing, not something that will turn around Egypt in the next 5 or 10 years.
Insecurity in Sinai may also slow the project further, Kirsten says, as militants continue to attack government interests on the peninsula. He calls the canal project a grandiose scheme that may take years longer than expected. But in the end, it may one day, like the original Suez Canal, help support the nation. Heather Murdoch, VOA News, London.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out all headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, a rap pioneer from the DRC offers up a blend of influences. Stay with us.
We were poor but happy in rural North Carolina. One night, a drunken driver hit us, and my baby sister suffered a traumatic brain injury. That made me determined to work in healthcare. I realized creating healthcare policy can make a big difference. I traveled the world to work on HIV/AIDS legislation. As a lobbyist, I take great pride in moving the public health agenda. To me, Black History Month celebrates the chance to dream beyond what is possible. My name is Arathan A.J. Jones, and I am a government affairs executive.
Welcome back. It's Music Maker time, and today we feature Tony Sad, an artist from the Democratic Republic of Congo, to tell us all about this young fellow. Is VOA's French to Africa RM music show, Roger Muntu.
It's been a long time.
It's been quite a while.
Show, right?
Yes, we've been busy, man.
That's
talking
correct.
to cool guys like
Tony Sad.
Tony Sad.
Yeah, Tony Sad was on our show yesterday. Well, he's in Belgium right now. We had him over the phone for the whole hour, for our music show in French, of course.
Yeah.
Tony Sad is originally, like you said, from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but what's interesting is that he has a mixture. His dad was actually originally from Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah, dad was from Brazil.
That's interesting.
So that's why you will hear that the rap, even it's a mixture of...
But one other thing we want to know, to find out is, does he retain the Congolese beat and rhythm even as he raps, which is a very Western
That's
thing?
correct. And as you know, when we grow up, keep our mom side more than the dad. So definitely, mom's from Congo, so
Yeah,
you can
you got
feel the
influence,
background of Congolese
get
music.
Let's get a feel of it.
Let's do this.
See.
Et au Charles-Henri le benguiste, on dit quoi, c'est quoi? C'est ça, non? Ouais, 18 ans c'est bien, mais 24, 26 là, ça commence à faire tard. Chouba, c'est ça, non? On y va. C'est vrai qu'elle est jolie, mais elle fait des pieds. Ok, elle sait qu'elle a trop de choses extraordinaires. C'est ça même, c'est vrai qu'elle est canon, mais elle est trop fière. Mais pourquoi? Elle sait qu'elle est dingue, alors elle se lâche. Ok, cette fille est belle comme tout, elle a fait de nous des poupées vaudou. Quand elle passe, on a tous mal au cou, car elle traîne un matos qui peut rendre fou. C'est vrai qu'elle a le tassa passa, bocho et niata assa. Je te promets, elle a le corps qui déchire et des yeux qui peuvent éblouir. Elle habite pas loin de chez moi et dès qu'elle me voit, elle change de démarche. Elle pousse ses blowjos en arrière, pousse tous les Joe à bout de nerf. Avec elle, matos et cadeaux, on a tous ramassé des poteaux. Elle frime comme un top modèle et surtout au volant de sa belle Opel. C'est vrai qu'elle est jolie, mais elle fait des pieds. Elle sait qu'elle a trop de choses extraordinaires. C'est vrai qu'elle est canon, mais elle est trop fière. Elle sait qu'elle est dingue, alors elle se la pèse. Ouais. Quand elle passe sur les Champs-Élysées, elle fait autant d'effets qu'analysés. Elle dévaste la rue comme un tsunami et dresse nos cheveux façon Camini. Je te jure qu'elle est compliquée. Maman va fière, c'est son sobriquet. Elle boude même les stars de foot. Pour la voir, faut être plus fort qu'un Bluetooth. Elle est chelou, elle est bizarre, elle est fière et froide comme un blizzard. On se demande si elle n'est pas lesbienne. Je crois qu'elle tricote avec sa voisine Fabienne. Ok, je vais mener ma petite enquête surprise. Fabienne a un mec, alors c'est quoi son problème? Faut que je perce le mystère de ce phénomène. C'est vrai qu'elle est jolie, mais elle fait des pieds. Elle sait qu'elle a trop de choses extraordinaires. C'est vrai qu'elle est canon, mais elle est trop fière. Elle sait qu'elle est dingue, alors elle se la pèse. Bon, là je suis décidé. Demain, je vais lui parler. Je vais lui dire c'est la vérité. Je vais lui faire comprendre que je vais la gérer. Ok, on y est. Pour elle, je me suis bien habillé. Je me suis bien sapé, bien parfumé. Et dit mais Weston au pied. Elle ne m'a même pas regardé. Elle m'a complètement nié à cause d'un vieux bébé qui est venu la chercher en Bentley. Cette voiture, je la connais, mais c'est celle de mon oncle. Il est marié et a plein de gosses.
So, what's the name of that song in first?
The name of that song is Elle fait de fier. Elle fait de fier means she has an attitude.
She has an attitude.
I want to talk to her, but she has an attitude.
Okay.
And then I just found out that she's actually going out with my uncle.
Oh, that's cool.
Oops. Not a good thing.
That's not so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Now, tell me, in terms of the way he has retained that Congolese beat, what is that? What are we hearing in the background?
Is that because this artist lived in the DRC until when he was 17 years old, before moving to Belgium to continue with his music. But as we were saying, that the background of his parents, just the fact that, you know, we know Brazil is good with samba and all the other music, you know, DRC with Ndombolo.
Ndombolo, that's a Ndombolo beat.
Exactly, you can tell.
Thanks
right?
a lot, Roger.
Great, thank you for having me.
I have to thank you very much for making this another fantastic
thank you.
Music Maker segment.
It's always great being here, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Roger Munter there, sharing with us music from their DRC on Music Maker Time. Now it's time for a short break still to come on Africa 54. A 1, 2, 3 Superstar Punch. We'll have a first look at Rihanna's new video. We'll be right back.
If you've just joined us, I'm Mariama Diallo, and here is a quick recap of today's headlines. In Switzerland, the World Health Organization says Ebola cases are on the rise in all 3 of West Africa's worst-hit countries this week. In Chad, rare footage shows that Chadian forces advancing against Boko Haram at the border with Nigeria. And in Nigeria, the Council of State says that presidential election will be held on February 14th as planned, despite voter ID distribution delay. In Equatorial Guinea, the Africa Cup of Nations semi-final match is halted between host team and Ghana as spectators throw objects onto the field. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here's what's trending. It's a triple threat.
Now I know the job tonight, thinking how could I be so reckless?
Well, international superstar Rihanna has released the music video for her new song, 4-5 Seconds, featuring former Beatles Sir Paul McCartney and rapper Kanye West. It's the first single from Rihanna's highly anticipated 8th studio album. The unnamed album, which doesn't have a release date yet, follows her 2012 release, Unapologetic. The video was shot in black and white and shows Rihanna and West singing while Sir Paul strums the guitar. All three wear denim in the video, something the Umbrella singer has called an all-American type look, rather. Well, next up, well, the Marley family is honoring what would have been Bob Marley's 70th birthday by launching a social campaign and releasing never-before-seen footage of the singer during his live performances, as well as deluxe editions of his well-known songs. Fans are encouraged to upload videos with the hashtag #ShareOneLove, demonstrating how they share their love with the world. According to campaign organizers, for every video uploaded, an online video player will donate $1 to a charity that will bring clean water to developing nations. The campaign starts February 6th. And finally, People Magazine and E! Online are reporting that Pirates of the Caribbean actor Johnny Depp tied the knot this week with Friday Night Lights actress Amber Heard in a surprise ceremony in Depp's Los Angeles home. The wedding took place just days ahead of a planned celebration on Depp's 54-acre private island in the Bahamas. The couple met on the set of the Dairy in 2010 and began dating in 2012 after Depp broke off a 14-year partnership with the mother of the 51-year-old's two children. Heard and Depp got engaged last January, and that is what's trending today. Well, in Western Uganda, a new award-winning sculpture gallery and art center called Rwenzori Founders boasts of a unique collection of high-end bronze sculptures. Now, the costly and rigorous casting process is rare in Uganda. VOS Pondiho tells us more.
Started nearly a decade ago, the Rwenzori Founders Art Center is located in the foothills of Rwenzori Mountains in western Uganda. Emmanuel Basaza is the director.
We want Uganda to be known for its art. We've been known for wood carving, a little bit of stone carving, a little bit of clay, but nothing really in bronze.
The gallery sits in harmony with the recently restored natural landscape.
With ourselves, everything we need, we create from here. We need sand, we go right to the river, get it from there, sieve it and make it ready for us. We need terracotta, we get clay, fire it, crush it and get what we want. Imagine this is the bed of clay, and that's the sculpture. I've put it in, I've leveled it out, and it's sitting perfectly in clay. We do that and then we cover. All right, like that. It captures the image of the sculpture. Now our job is to get that art transformed to bronze. And that's where we now come in as craftsmen.
Tourists are treated to a stunning display of works cast in the gallery by a group of 16 permanent craftsmen. Pure white Ugandan marble carving rubs shoulders with soapstone and bronze pieces created by the diverse local artists. A series of more than 30 animals in bronze are permanently on display, capturing the glory of the native species: elephants, lions, buffaloes, colobus, and hippos.
You have 15 groups of people coming in a month, and we might have make a few sales, about 10 sales a month.
On average, how much do you sell your pieces? Just on average?
Well, on average, a sculpture would, a basic clan totem sculpture would go at $1,200.
Mr. Basaza says that these remarkable pieces of art are a reflection of the people, culture, wildlife, and the beauty of Uganda. The Renzoli Sculpture Foundation supports the Sculpture Gallery.
One of our big objectives is to actually promote intercultural and cross-cultural art. Local artists working with international artists to produce something that they can both appreciate.
The gallery is rapidly becoming a popular tourist destination, showcasing the best of modern African art. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.
Well, it's time now for Friday Sports Update. For the latest news and notes, here's Shani Young with us, Sunny Side of Sports. Hello, Shani, and what's happening up there in Nations Cup?
Hello, Vincent, and sporty greetings once again to our Africa 54 viewers. Ghana will go against neighbor Ivory Coast in Sunday's 30th Africa Cup of Nations football final in Bata, Equatorial Guinea. Ghana advanced Thursday with a 3-0 victory over host Equatorial Guinea in a match that was marred by fan violence. There we see the referee showing a yellow card, but maybe the Equatorial Guinea fans as a whole should have been shown a collective red card. They threw bottles and stones and forced a delay in the match of more than 30 minutes. Police fired tear gas and a helicopter circled the stadium to help clear the unruly crowd. On a happier note, let's give a Sunny Side of Sports shout out for the Ayew brothers, Jordan and Ayew, the sons of Ghanaian football great Abedi Pele. They both scored against Equatorial Guinea. And let's hope Sunday's final comes off without any more crowd trouble. Vincent, I think it's going to be a good match between Ghana and Ivory Coast. Who do you like?
Ghana has always played a superior game, and for me, I always support them. So I wish them all the best, really, and especially after what they had to experience.
It's been a long time since either team has won the Nations Cup crown. I think we have to go back 33 years since Ghana won it. Yeah, Ivory Coast won its last title in 1992. Yeah. So both teams with a lot to play for.
Yeah, we look forward to a lot of action, and hey, I hope there won't be any violence, and I don't think there will be any violence this time.
And quick shout out for Andre Ayew. I want to get his name right this time. Andre Dede Ayew. He is the son of Abedi Pele, and he could end up as the all-time leading, the top scorer at the Nations Cup.
Thank you very much, Sonny. And that's our show for today. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here in Washington, have a good night and a great weekend.
What we do is bring viewers the stories behind the stories.
We are able to touch on things that are important to people.
So you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent.
It's really a conversation the same way that you would bring a friend to your home and ask them what's going on. And our correspondents will do that and answer those questions through their own eyes.
Washington Forum is made by the viewers, for the viewers, bringing something to Africa.
We hope that our viewers are getting inspired when they watch our show, but they're learning, getting a view of the world from a different perspective.
We go beyond the headlines and dig a little deeper so that people can have better information to help them in their lives.
My role as a journalist is to inform the world, to make a difference, to make a change. That's what makes me tick.